Welcome in on this Tuesday morning. The time right now is 10 a.m. We begin with a live look from the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier in Arlington, Virginia this morning as our nation marks Veterans Day. A ceremony just started where President Donald Trump is set to lay a wreath and deliver remarks as well. This is one of many events happening across the country today, including here locally.
And 99 years ago today, the monument that we know as the Liberty Memorial Tower opened to the public for the first time. It stands to honor those who sacrificed their life during World War I in defense of liberty and our country. Right now, a special ceremony to honor veterans is underway, and there are several other ways for you to say thank you. The city of Leavenworth is hosting a parade at 10:30, and Lenexa will have an observance at 11. So a lot going on here, and I do believe our Gabby Luma will have a story from this morning's ceremony at the Liberty Memorial, so it'll be nice to see that.
And again, formally, we do want to thank you for joining us here on KCTV5 Plus. Janae Hancock here with Taylor Johnson. We do have a lot to get to here today, Taylor, including the government shutdown. I know that's going to impact, it has impacted a lot of people, and the latest update is huge. So we're going to get to that right now, actually. Let's jump straight into the latest of what we know so far this morning. The government shutdown is one step closer to ending. The Senate stalemate is over after 41 days. Lawmakers passed the federal spending bill late last night. House lawmakers could finally put an end to this ongoing shutdown by the end of this week. House Speaker Mike Johnson is now urging House members to return to Washington quickly for a possible vote. The Speaker says a vote could happen as early as tomorrow, and if the bill passes, it will then go to President Donald Trump for his signature.
So let's break down how this bill would impact you. The agreement, it funds the government through January 30th, and it reverses layoffs from the shutdown, guaranteeing back pay to all federal workers and funding SNAP benefits until September. Now, the deal does not extend the health care subsidies that Democrats wanted, but it does promise a vote next month.
Thousands of federal workers are waiting for back pay right now, including those right here in our area. KCTV5's Nathan Brennan joins us with an update.
Good morning, Kansas City. I'm Nathan Brennan inside the KCTV5 newsroom. We have now entered day 42 of the government shutdown, and there's some numbers and stats that I want to go over too. Again, as many federal workers here in Kansas City have now reached a month without pay. So according to a law passed in 2019, if you happen to be one of those federal workers watching here this morning, you are entitled to back pay. And it's also important to mention too that you must be paid on the earliest date possible. You will not have to wait until the next pay cycle. And as of this morning, there are at least 670,000 federal employees that have been furloughed across the entire country, 730,000 that are still working without pay. Now, as a reminder, a funding bill has already passed through the Senate. It is now up to the House and President for final approval.
And that was our Nathan Brennan reporting. Now, SNAP recipients waiting for benefits could finally have some clarity. The U.S. Supreme Court will decide today when full benefits will resume. It's been a seesaw back and forth between the courts and the Trump administration, so we will keep you updated on what the court does decide.
And turning now to the KCI website, as the deal works its way through Congress, flight disruptions continue at airports nationwide. More than 2,000 flights were canceled yesterday. Flights to Charlotte, New York, and Chicago are among those affected. And looking live at this website right now, we have been checking for a few hours now, Taylor, and I did see some canceled flights. However, it seems like everything is now on time and boarding, and that is good news. I told you a story about my mom, how she was stuck yesterday. And I know we also have a meteorologist, Stevie Stevenson, who was stuck last week in Houston. So again, it's just impacting a lot of people, but we'll continue to keep you posted. But we also want to urge you, if you have an upcoming flight this week or maybe in the coming weeks, stay on top of alerts from your airline. We also want to encourage you to download the My TSA app. You can take a look at just how long those TSA lines are going to be as well.
Yeah, it's very helpful tips there. And we've also been talking about just how you do have rights as well if your flight is canceled or delayed beyond a certain time. So be sure to check with your airline as it relates to that too. I know that singer Anthony Hamilton was supposed to have a show here and he ended up canceling because of the uncertainty around air traffic and things like that. He will reschedule, but you know, it's really causing some real issues for folks. All right, so let's turn to a story that has really been capturing a lot of attention in our area. We do have an update. A suspect is now in custody. He's charged in the hit and run of a young KU pre-med student. William Ray Klingler, he faces reckless and voluntary homicide charges in the death of 20-year-old Elsa McGrain. And during McGrain's evening jog late Thursday night, a car hit her and then drove off. Elsa, she was just starting her journey toward becoming a doctor, a dream that will never be fulfilled. As her family grieves, they want her legacy to live on. So people knew Elsa for her academic excellence and campus leadership. She pitched in heavily to help her Chi Omega sorority, and she lived her faith daily. But her parents say her heart for others is what truly set her apart.
She always was just able to help people feel special, feel good.
The KU junior planned to graduate in 2026.
And moving along with your local news headlines here today, many states are delaying energy assistance payouts because of the government shutdown. Missouri is one state continuing helping as the winter weather blows in. The federal government has not been able to give states money for the low-income home energy assistance program, also called LIHEAP, while it's shut down. Missouri is currently running on a backlog right now. Payouts for winter started on the 1st of this month. Some of Missouri's neighbors, like Kansas, have delayed payments. Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe says that he hopes to keep the program running no matter how long the shutdown lasts.
We know that our agencies that help specifically with some of those utility issues, we're going to continue to encourage them and try to work with them and see what we can do. Some state resources already go into those programs, so we'll make sure that flow does not stop.
Now, the Department of Social Services says LIHEAP is used by 6 million Americans nationwide and more than 100,000 families right here in Missouri.
Now we're going to turn to a safety alert this morning, one that kind of has me worried always this time of year. Cold temperatures, they're blindsiding drivers. So if your car won't start, just know that you are not alone. Now, we're all used to our tire lights turning on this time of year, but if you do walk out to a dead car this morning, it's likely that the temperature is draining your battery. And when temperatures drop fast, your car battery loses power, sometimes more than half its strength. But you can protect yourself. Just be sure to turn off lights and accessories before shutting down your car. Park inside a garage if you can, and keep jumper cables or a portable charger in your trunk.
They're becoming quite compact, and they can be used, and obviously their intent is to be used in an emergency situation, and for that role they fit the bill just fine.
Now, if your car is slow to start today, don't wait. Know that a weak battery can leave you stranded. I know when it gets like really, really cold and my car is like, I'm like, come on, girl. Because it's just, it's she hasn't let me down on that. The only time that my car battery has died was me accidentally leaving the lights on.
Oh, yeah, that's not a good one.
But yeah, it can get a little scary in the wintertime.
Okay, so we do want to turn to another safety alert angle here for you. Thieves broke into 8 cars all in one night in Peculiar, Missouri. That's about 30 minutes south of Kansas City. Police are trying to get the message out to families across the metro to lock everything up, and that includes your cars, that includes your homes as well, your open garages. You want to close those before you go to sleep, and that all comes as the hunt continues for suspects today. KCTV5's Morgan Rydell has that story.
Firearm is a new element that we've not seen.
Just take a look at this video. You can see one of the suspects patrolling in front of this family home, armed with a pistol.
My wife and I, as soon as we heard that there was a gun involved or that they were armed, that made us extra nervous.
Aaron Stock lives just doors away from where one of these videos was taken.
It was pretty unnerving. Definitely, having kids in the area and kids of our own.
It happened last Thursday. Since then, Stock says neighbors are keeping each other on high alert.
We've been trying to get each other's phone numbers and at least kind of texting each other here and there, and if we see or hear anything.
That's exactly what Police Chief Don Shepard says he hoped would happen when they put out this call on social media.
For someone to be standing out, acting as a lookout while holding a pistol the whole time their partner's in the garage, trying to steal the car and so forth, that's brazen. That's a new level. We haven't seen that. Chief
Shepard says as they work to figure out who's behind the masks, they need residents to be locking up and doing an extra check. As for the thieves, he has a message.
The last thing we want is for anyone to get hurt or even killed over something so stupid and trivial. Again, stealing happens all the time, but when you introduce a firearm into the mix, that changes the dynamic of the situation entirely.
All right, that was our Morgan Rydell reporting. Such a scary situation there. All right, so let's turn to 31st and Prospect, where residents are still waiting for Sunfresh to reopen. If you remember, the store closed in August after weeks of empty shelves. Kansas City is trying to find the next operator. KCTV5 investigates. Samantha Boring shares where things stand.
This week marks 3 months since this Sunfresh closed its doors, leaving many in the neighborhood finding a new place to get groceries. But the city manager says now 7 groups are eyeing the chance to reopen this space.
Here you go. Thank you. Can you imagine if we were able to do this there?
Yeah.
There's no reason why that community has got to suffer.
This is Bridge Over Troubled Water, a food pantry and market.
Avocado.
Located in Belton, they opened up in 2022 to help anyone in need from Cass, Jackson, and Johnson counties.
When you don't have a whole lot of money, you also don't have a whole lot of access. Make sure you bring the boys by to see me or tell them I said hi.
Executive Director Shay Jefferson wants to bring this concept to the former Sunfresh in Kansas City.
I know that just as we've kept these shelves stocked, just as we have been able to provide a service for this community, we do this and so much more for that community.
She's one of about 7 who's looking to see this parking lot full again. Kansas City City Manager Mario Vasquez says the interest is encouraging.
How do we come back in a way that is more successful for the area?
Vasquez is planning community interviews next month. Residents will have the chance to give input on the new operator.
The neighborhood around it is pretty isolated from basic services otherwise. And I think in the absence of basic services, we got to figure out how to deliver.
He says it's going to take a couple of months to find the next tenant and get things up and running again.
Again, we made a promise 10 years ago. We're trying to keep that promise.
No matter who takes over,
Things they just come and get for free.
Jefferson feels the community deserves better.
I hope whoever gets Sunfresh will turn it into something that community could be proud of.
Vasquez is hoping to have this store back open in early spring. From 31st and Prospect, Samantha Boring, KCTV5 investigates.
Alrighty, we want to end on a positive note here, bringing you this story that we have just been waiting to give you. Project Warmth was a huge success once again this year, and it's all thanks to your incredible generosity. We collected more than 10,400 winter items. That's nearly 70% more than last year. From hats and coats to gloves and scarves, everything you donated will help Metro families stay warm this winter through our partnership with the Salvation Army. So thank you once again for making such a difference right here in our community. Taylor, this is something I look forward to every year.
Yeah, and sadly I was out of town when the collection happened, but more than 70% than last year. That
70%.
is amazing.
People showed up.
I love that.
And I love that. So again, we'll do it again next year.
Yes, I'll be
back
here.
And we're going to hope that we meet that again or go even bigger come next year. We do want to take a live look before we turn things over to meteorologist Warren Sears with your weather forecast for today and in the coming days. We're taking a live look from Arlington, Virginia this morning. You can see President Donald Trump as well as Vice President J.D. Vance there at the ceremony marking Veterans Day. Again, this is a live look from the tomb of the unknown soldier. We'll be right back with your news headlines.
Hey everybody, I'm First Warn 5 meteorologist Warren Sears. Happy Tuesday. It is already much warmer out there today. I know it doesn't feel like it, but your temperatures this morning were in the upper 30s instead of upper teens. So that is a good improvement. Now the wind chills though, definitely an issue out there because of that strong gusty southwest wind, but that wind will actually eventually help us and bring us some warmer air, but even by this afternoon. So you've got a nice warming trend on the way. If you are not ready for the winter feel just yet, well, here you go. The rest of this week honestly looks really nice, and you will enjoy what we have in store. So let's talk about your forecast here over the next few minutes. Let's first get to the upper level winds. Really a big factor here on what's going on with our weather down at the ground level. And you've likely heard of something called the jet stream. Well, the jet stream was in a big dip here over us this last week, releasing so much colder air into the region. Well, now we've got a ridge building in from the west, southwest. That is warmer air that eventually will kind of sit and just hang out overhead. We got quiet conditions for a few days, and I would say even your Thursday and Friday conditions will be some of the warmer readings that we have here this entire week. So get ready. We've got some comfortable and well above normal air that is going to be in place. Now, this morning was colder. We had breezy conditions. Wind chills were in the 20s. We're starting to see some improvements now. We've got some 40s out there across the board. And by this afternoon, about 60 degrees, lower 70s even later on this week, maybe even some mid 70s as you tap into the start of that weekend. Now, there is a rain opportunity, I should say, but yesterday was looking a little bit more confined to Saturday evening and Sunday. Well, good news. We've actually been able to drop some of the chances, or at least delay them a little bit. So first warn is in place for now Sunday and Monday, but I would say more at this rate with the newest data coming in late Sunday and into early Monday looks to be your better chance for some rain. So the system, it's slow moving and it has delayed a little bit. So great sign we're able to dry your Saturday out a little bit more. Now there's still a small opportunity for an isolated thunderstorm. There's a front that comes through late Saturday and into the overnight. We're going to keep a 30% chance there. I don't want to say it's going to be completely dry, but it is trending much drier. It was originally looking like a very wet Saturday night and Sunday. So again, things are at least moving a little bit. We are still many days away from this system, so that's why there's been some larger changes and swings with some of our computer modeling, but that's typical. And this time of the year, our upper level pattern is just real active. So we are able to start to narrow in on this a little bit more. And right now, data is suggesting later in the day, Sunday and into your Monday is the better rain chance for impactful rain out there. So that's later in the week. Let's focus on now because, we've got some high clouds, but for the most part, filtered sunshine, 46, already way warmer than our high temperature yesterday, which was only 38. Now, your wind out of the southwest today, as I mentioned, it's hurting us a little bit this morning because it brings your wind chills down a little colder than your actual air temperatures, but feels like 39 right now. It's cold, but it's getting a little bit more tolerable. So the good news with the wind, too, is I expect it to start to throttle back after lunch. So you will have gusts into the 30 mile per hour range, probably into the early afternoon, but watch what happens even mid to late afternoon. We can get that to throttle down probably into the sustained 5 to 15 mile per hour category, maybe some gusts up to 20. So much better, much more tolerable, and much more pleasant for the second half of our Tuesday. Now, the rest of your afternoon, I do expect the sun to continue to come out. I expect those temperatures to warm into the 50s by 1 p.m. and then eventually 61 is your forecast high temperature out there today. If you don't hit 60, you'll be at least in the upper 50s. So across the board, pretty uniform day, upper 50s, low 60s, good deal of sunshine, and a decreasing wind the later you go in the day. Now, 61, yeah, that's great, but look at where we're about to head over the next few days. 64 on Wednesday, in my opinion, this looks to be almost a perfect November day. You've got mid-60s, you have sunshine, and you also have a light breeze out there, which is a really nice, addition to your forecast on your Wednesday. So keep this in mind. Tomorrow looks fantastic. You've got the green light, morning lows in the upper 30s, afternoon highs in the mid-60s. Even warmer, hard to believe, for your Thursday and Friday. We are pushing back to the 70-degree mark Thursday and 74 on Friday. Now, I will say to get into the 70s. We usually this time of the year need a stronger wind, and that's going to happen. So we will have breezy conditions at times, maybe even on Thursday as well, but especially Friday and Saturday to keep you into the mid 70s out there. Now it's dry. We have a area of high pressure basically sitting overhead, and that kind of limits any sort of weather developing. But I do expect this to break down, and our next cold front comes into the region Saturday night. Now, that gives you a 30% chance. Again, I dropped the first warn off of Saturday, so confidence is lowering to have impacts with rain, but I still have a 30% chance just in case we have an isolated shower or rumble on that cold front. Now, the better chance in the larger storm system comes in that first warn, and that's going to be Sunday night and into your Monday. So that's when I'm expecting your better rain chance out there, and that's going to be again Sunday night and into your Monday. So this is the latest computer guidance here on Saturday. As I mentioned, that week, or it's a pretty potent front, but the front comes through, and there's not a whole lot of moisture. There's an okay amount of moisture to deal with here, but there's just not a whole lot of strong signal to see thunderstorms on this. But I want to leave a 30% chance just in case as that front swings through. Maybe it pops up an isolated thunderstorm. Looks like the better chance is going to be farther to our south. So most of Saturday, dry. Then the front comes in, cools you way down for your Sunday. But I do, at this point, expect fairly dry conditions on Sunday as well. Now, later in the day, we'll be watching our next storm system come in from the west. The timing on this, again, has been what has changed in the computer modeling, even over the last 24 hours. What originally was going to come through sometime late Saturday looks to be coming through sometime now late Sunday. Once it comes through, this is an area of low pressure. It's a slow mover, so that could bring some bands of rain at times, sometime Monday early morning after midnight, and then potentially even into your Monday afternoon. The latest trend is to bring you a couple tenths to maybe half inch of rain. Hopefully we can get some more than that, but I think that's a pretty safe bet there. So an updated weekend forecast, 75 on your Saturday. Again, it'll be a little bit breezy at times, but we are trending drier, so this is a really nice sign. And we were able to drop the first warn. If for some reason we waffle back and the computers want to speed it up again, we can reevaluate that. But at this time, we are trending drier out ahead of the front. 75 degrees is your forecast on Saturday. 30% chance for an evening shower or quick thunderstorm. Then on Sunday, down to 60. Still not bad for this time of the year, but a 15-degree swing nonetheless. And that prompts the first warn. It's a mainly dry day, but our next storm system likely later in the day will have increasing cloud coverage and increasing rain chances as well. So that's a look at your weekend. I know it's only Tuesday, but I know we're all thinking about the weekend already. And so that's what we have to look forward to. Right now, Saturday definitely trending to be a much nicer day, but it will be a bit breezy at times. All right, here's a look at your Security Bank's 7-day forecast. We have a huge spread in temperatures here. 61 to 64 to 70. Look at even Thursday morning, 42. That is going to be much more pleasant. But look at Friday morning, 52, and Saturday morning, 60 for your low temperatures. So night and day different. 60 degrees is above our normal high temperature for this time of the year. So we are soaring above that normal and shattering those 50s where we we traditionally sit this time of the year about 56 degrees. Every single day minus next Monday is going to be above that. So 61 all the way to 75. That alone is quite the swing, but that means all of your afternoons will be nice and pleasant. We'll be able to give the heaters at least a break for a few days, open up the windows, all that fun stuff. Put away the heavy coats at least briefly, because I'm sure we will need them sometime later next week. And the overall pattern is to bring this front Saturday night and into Sunday morning, and then that will knock your temperatures down for I think a lot of next week, hanging out mainly in the 50s. That looks to be the overall pattern at this time, is to bring some 50s back for your afternoon highs. So moral of the story, soak this in, enjoy. We have a great rest of our week in store. I hope that you are able to find some time to be outside later this week and even for part of the upcoming weekend. It really does look to be solid out there. All right, everyone, thank you for joining me here on this late morning weather update. We will see you at noon for your next weather update, and Taylor and Janae will be back here very shortly in just a few minutes.
Thank you for staying with us here on KCTV5 Plus. And this morning we are introducing you to Artful Connections Along the Streetcar. It's a new podcast bringing listeners inside candid and creative conversations with leaders of KC's flourishing arts and cultural organizations, all accessible along the KC Streetcar's route and just in time for the World Cup 2026. And here to talk with us all about it is Di Townsend. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. So I know that Artful Connections Along the Streetcar is a new podcast. Tell us how this got started.
Well, so about 17 years ago, we, with the help of the Muriel McBride Kaufman Foundation, we launched this magazine, KC Studio, to kind of fill a big void in arts coverage in Kansas City. And as we've evolved over time, we are looking for new and interesting ways to reach new audiences with the arts, about the arts. And so in March of 2025, we sent out a survey to over 13,000 of our donors and subscribers. And we discovered that 47% of our arts audience listens to podcasts. And 81% of those are under the age of 50. And so we're always looking to reach younger audiences and showcase the arts and everything that's possible in Kansas City. And so our marketing manager, Susan Cantrell, came up with the idea of this podcast featuring arts leaders who are all along the streetcar route. And it's been kind of an exciting journey so far. Our first episode was George Guastello with Union Station. Our second, Stacy Payne with Crown Center. And this month, it's Tom Jaron, who leads the Streetcar Authority.
And let's just talk a little bit about the survey that you put out and the results that you got, just about people wanting to connect in the form of a podcast. I feel like that's just gotten so much more popular in recent years. The audio and storytelling through that. I'm a big podcast fan myself. I listen to them almost every day.
Well, you're savvy about, I guess, print, electronic media. And we've been so kind of rooted in print media. And we have a very robust website, which is probably the most comprehensive website with arts and cultural information in Kansas City, with some of the best writers and curated editorial. But, coming from this kind of print, moving into digital, podcasts seemed like the next link. And we were very surprised to see how many of our readers are listening to podcasts. And so it was a way, the streetcar was kind of a natural, because there are now all of these arts organizations that are just, steps, if not a block from the streetcar, that people can just take the streetcar and go visit multiple arts organizations. And so we wanted to bring that to life. That seemed like a natural.
Yeah, for sure. And the first thing that kind of comes to mind, at least recently with the streetcar and art, was when the Chapel Roan concert was in town, and one of the streetcars was wrapped in the Chapel Roan branding, but then also the mural was painted on Broadway of Chapel Roan, and it drew out a lot of people. And I know there was a lot of excitement for people to get on the streetcar and then to go and see that piece of art here in the city.
Well, so that's so funny, because I have friends who attended the concert, and they were just so sorry that the streetcar hadn't opened up already from UMKC. But I do know people who drove down to the River Market and met friends who lived down there, and then they took the streetcar up to Liberty Memorial. And I think it's just going to create a lot of access to the arts. And a lot of people don't know, there aren't a lot of organizations covering the arts in Kansas City. And so it's very important to kind of publicize and promote how people can engage with the arts. And that's another goal of this project.
Mm-hmm. And another thing that comes to mind, too, when it comes to at least the streetcar extension, we just celebrated the grand opening, that getting down to the plaza area, getting down near UMKC, you have closer access to the Nelson Atkins, and then I know there's also the Art Institute down there. Has that been part of the conversations that you've had on the podcast yet, or is that something that's going to be coming up?
Well, so our January podcast is going to be Julian Zuga-Gazoisha, who's the head of the Nelson. And I know he'll talk a little bit about this whole corridor that they're working on called the Artery, where you can get off at the museum streetcar stop, and there'll be there's a whole walkway called the Artery that they are opening up to kind of invite people to see the Kemper Museum, Kansas City Art Institute, and the Nelson. And that they've got a lot of great long-term plans for that. But initially it's all marked now, and people get off and kind of walk that corridor and have access to the, basically for art museums, the Kemper and the Nelson.
And so you mentioned some of the past guests that you've already had. So the president of Union Station, president of Crown Center Redevelopment, the executive director of the KC Streetcar. What has been some of the things that have come out of those conversations? Anything that maybe you've learned or that might be new and useful to listeners that maybe they didn't know about before, especially as it relates to the art scene here?
Well, first of all, I've sat in on all of the podcasts when they were recorded, and I just learned so much from these people. Actually, they have great personalities. Jordan Guastello, it goes without saying, at Union Station. But I think what we were amazed with really all of the things going on there. And I feel like each guest so far has revealed so many reasons to engage with all of the various things happening at Union Station. Stacey Payne at Crown Center, I guess she had never done a podcast before. She was fabulous. And they, she went over all of the arts and cultural things that are there at Crown Center, and kind of how Crown Center has its roots in the arts, founded by Hallmark, which, made Kansas City a major kind of art mecca for artists and that sort of thing. And when Tom Jaron, for this month with the Streetcar Authority, I went into that thinking, just what in the world is he going to have to say besides talk about the streetcar logistically? But he had a lot of great insight to how the Streetcar Authority was almost involved with the arts in Kansas City from the get-go. Pretty much there's a whole arts and cultural scene downtown, and they really engaged with that when they got started. And I'm also kind of excited about what future streetcar going either on 18th Street all the way connecting the Jazz District. He talks a little bit about how economically that would probably be a very easy extension to do. But ultimately, then 39th Street from KU Med Center going east could be really interesting. But they've really accomplished a lot. And I think people are very excited about this UMKC Plaza extension to that area. But the December podcast will be interviewing Rick Truman of the Folly Theater, January, Julian Zuga-Gazoisha at the Nelson, and then we've secured, I think February is going to be Eric Dorfman from the Linda Hall Library, a Kansas City gem that I think very few people really know about. And I think Eric will be able to really bring Linda Hall to people and let them know what is going on in this magnificent library there on the UMKC campus.
Gosh, you have a lot of heavy hitters as guests on the podcast, and what I love is just how it can also be used as a tool to kind of help listeners rediscover the city, and even just kind of learn about new parts that they may have never considered before, especially that connection between the streetcar and the arts. So when people do listen to artful connections along the streetcar, what do you want them to take away?
I want them to find out about things that they could do and go see and explore in the arts in Kansas City. I mean, one of our goals in this KC Studio magazine is really to tell people what's going on, things that they wouldn't otherwise know about. When we first started the magazine with the support of Muriel McBride Coffin Foundation, we were told when we surveyed people about what they would like to see in a magazine, tell us things we don't know. And I think that we do a good job of this. And one of the, I think I would be remiss in not saying, is it's impossible to do these projects without support. And we're not for profit. And we do rely on contributed support, but also earned revenue. And two sponsors came to the front right away, Tibble Jewelry and Arvis Bank, and split the cost of making this podcast possible. And so that allowed us to focus on developing the podcast and a quality podcast. Michael Mackey, who's kind of a famous, notable personality, is the host, and so I think if Arvis and Tibble hadn't come to support this, I mean, almost right away they said yes. It would be hard to put something like this together if you're trying to figure out how to pay for it, that sort of thing. But they're big supporters of the arts, both of those organizations. And I think they see the value in introducing people to these arts leaders. And, all up and down the streetcar, you've got the Unicorn Theater, the Metropolitan Ensemble, you've got all of the stuff. So hopefully it's slated for a 12-month project, and it'll be kind of culminating about the time of the World Cup. And hopefully people coming for the World Cup, they'll be able to access our website and see all the cultural and arts things they can engage in while they're here. But they also can listen to these podcasts and start to get to know more in depth what's going on at some of these venues.
And for people to access Artful Connections along the streetcar, where can they find it?
Oh, God. I think any place you normally go for your podcasts, it's available. And of course, at our website, kcstudio.org, you can reach it there. So.
Awesome. Well, Guy, thank you so much for being with us this morning to talk about Artful Connections along the streetcar. I'll have to give it a listen myself.
Well, thank you very much.
Yes. And with that, we are going to take a break, and we'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us here on KCTV5 Plus. It is Tuesday, which means it's time to talk about what's trending. Our friend Evanie Bing here with us today. How are you?
Happy Taco Tuesday.
Oh, yes.
Taco Tuesday.
Get me hungry now.
I know.
I know you're ready for lunch.
Yes.
Okay, let's jump into what is trending. So Taylor already touched on it, but she's really excited about what we're going to be talking about, and I am as well. Let's start off with Eddie Murphy. What's going on with him?
Yeah, tomorrow's the big day on Netflix. Actually, his documentary or his docuseries, I'm not quite sure if it's just a documentary or if it has several episodes to it. Typically, they like a nice little docuseries to, stretch out the viewership. But
yeah.
Being Eddie, that is premiering tomorrow on Netflix. And it's interesting because he said in the documentary, I saw a clip, that he was actually planning his comeback to the big stage and doing comedy, but the pandemic hit, and he's like, I don't know if I want to tour. He says that the right circumstances have to happen for him to want to actually hit the road. So this turned into a docuseries. So we're going to be seeing some never before seen footage, and just Eddie Murphy at home. I didn't know he is a grandpa with 3 grandkids.
He has a lot of kids.
Yeah, he does.
A lot.
Very fertile man. Yes, he is. But Eddie Murphy, man, I don't like to count people's money, but I mean, that's been a very successful man.
Yes.
In the docuseries, he said that he's been famous for a lot of his life.
Yeah.
If you remember, well, I don't remember, but I've just heard stories of like one of his first stand-up specials. I believe he's wearing an infamous red jacket.
Delirious. That is my favorite.
Yeah,
that is my favorite.
I've never seen it before, but I believe he was like 19, 20 years old back then. And so he's been on this journey for quite some time. I grew up with him. I'm familiar with Eddie Murphy with like the Norbits and the
Nutty Professor,
Dr. Dolittle,
Shrek.
and then Shrek.
Oh,
yes. And he also talks about how Shrek the donkey is getting his own spinoff too after the new Shrek movie debuts, I believe, next year.
With Zendaya. Oh, I don't know how I feel about this movie, but keep going.
We're just really excited about it. So I will be tuning in for that docu-series tomorrow.
I didn't know it was tomorrow. I heard about it last month, but I didn't know it was this close. So I'll be tuning in too.
Yeah, my favorite thing that I learned about Eddie Murphy was about his music career, because the first time I ever saw him sing was in Dreamgirls. Yeah. And I thought it was hysterical. And my mom was like, no, like, listen to this song. And she played Party All the Time.
Okay,
yeah, that's what he's famous for. Yeah.
Well, Party All the Time, I thought that was just kind of like playing around in a joke, but I guess he really was
a real
serious.
thing.
Yeah. He can sing.
And he doesn't have, I was going to say, he doesn't have a bad voice on him, because going back to what you said, Taylor, Dreamgirls, I was like, okay.
That's also
another, that's also another one.
Yeah.
But yes, Jimmy want a rib, Jimmy want a steak, Jimmy want a piece of
He is a very talented man. So yeah, congratulations. I'm just really interested to see his story.
And you know what? I also wanted to touch on that because I just saw Kevin Hart. I know they include so many other comedians within this, kind of giving him his flowers, and I'm so big on that, giving it to him while he's still alive and he can smell them. So I think this is going to be pretty
heavy
special.
hitters right there.
Yeah. Alrighty, let's move along. Who else are we chatting about? Oh, I'm excited about this, Evanie. I'll let you introduce it.
Okay, so I thought that I could casually walk into a Starbucks and get one of these barista cups, but girl, get in line with like the millions of other people that want these cups.
Oh my gosh.
I had no idea. So Starbucks, they released a limited edition cold cup. And this thing is $30, and so people were lining up.
This is $30.
Yes,
well,
it's
people
glass.
are selling it online for more.
Glass. It's
Hold
glass.
on.
And people were lining up at 2 a.m. at the Starbucks, and then they started to complain. Oh, we saw workers, and they were ringing themselves up. Yeah, that's what workers do in retail. We actually get first dibs because we have to deal with, Look, trauma from working retail.
Yeah.
I worked at Victoria's Secret at the Oak Park Mall, and man, of course, yes, we get the first dibs on stuff. We are paying our good hard-earned money.
Because you were there before 2 a.m.
Exactly. We have to clean up after you. But yes, those barista cups, people have made lines outside waiting until 2 a.m., and they're saying that there was probably only like 2 or 3 in stock available for the public, and so they're thinking that's really unfair. But yesterday they announced that there is more merch coming. They teamed up with a merch company. And I don't think it's going to be as cute as this little bear. Like,
it's adorable.
It's adorable. I don't even need any more cups, but I want him.
I love the red cup. That's happening this week, the red cup day.
The holiday cups.
Compared to the barista?
I'm not standing in line though.
No, I wouldn't either.
No,
Yeah,
but it is
but
cute.
It is cute. Did you see Walmart's?
Yes, I saw
Okay.
their version.
They did a
of the-
knockoff?
Yeah, the knockoff.
Great value
yeah.
one.
Great value.
But
That's what that is.
I know, but anytime people
honey.
say great value,
It's-
you know what it means.
Exactly.
Well, it's the
exactly.
honey bottle, and it's the Great Value honey
And they
bottle, and they
suck a-
little
That's
dots.
what it reminds
on-
me of.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but Starbucks is way cuter. Actually, those bears are selling online on eBay for $87,000 to $89,000.
That is
Yeah, I was gonna say
wild.
they're
Crazy.
taxing on them things.
Yeah, so they want their money, and people will give them their money. I haven't seen
Mm-hmm.
a craze like this since the Beanie Babies. So,
Oh.
yeah.
Well, they are cute. I don't know if I'd stand in line. I would not pay that much
No,
either.
I wouldn't.
But they are cute to look at. And if there's one that just happens
on
to
the
land in
shelf.
this newsroom,
Oh.
it will be mine.
Wink,
Alrighty, so let's move on to Kim Kardashian.
Yeah, so I had no idea that the Kardashians had such an obsession with psychics, but Kim Kardashian is upset, of course, because she didn't pass the bar exam. I would be too. She studied very hard for that, but she said she has more motivation to try it again, but she's upset with the 4 psychics that she consulted. All 4 of them told her that she was going to pass the bar exam, and here we are, and no, she didn't.
Girl,
Do you guys
really?
believe in psychics? Have you ever seen one?
I have had a tarot reading before.
Ooh, tarot. The
And I
cards
mean,
scare me.
It was all right because of Carmen. You ever see Carmen with Beyonce?
Yes,
they said
I
she was
have.
going to die.
Yes, I
So
remember
I
that.
have seen a psychic.
Okay,
And it was a little too much for me.
But were the things that they told you, were they correct?
One.
Kinda.
Yeah, I would say one detail was. But it was in California, and I was like, okay, you're probably a little.
I did an online, like she got on Zoom with me and she did an online reading. It was quite pricey. And then I did one, when I was first put on air, they had me at a psychic convention.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and my mom said about both of them that they are not good. When are you going to get married? And I'm like, Mommy, they told me I need to deal with my career, so maybe marriage is not in the cards for me. But I'm just saying, I don't know if I believe in psychics. It is fun, so I will entertain it. But yeah, for 4 to tell you yes and it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But don't be mad at them. You
Right.
should have studied, girl.
Well, remember she was consulting with Chat GPT.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, she did say that.
Yeah.
Not to take legal advice from ChatGPT. But this doesn't surprise me with Kim K reaching out to psychics and trying to figure out if she's going to pass
You
or
got the
not.
nerve to be mad at them, girl. This is on you.
But
Taylor has no sympathy.
No,
I will
no,
tell you
no.
though that those psychics are expensive. I spent
They are,
$300 on the reading that I did, and then she has more pricier ones that go up to $1,200. So I can't imagine what the Kardashians are paying.
So rightfully so, she's upset.
Well, speaking of the Kardashians, really quick, I've been seeing the pictures from Kris Jenner's
The
birthday.
girl
party.
looks
Yes.
good. Did you see
Oh,
her? She is
my
snatched.
goodness.
Hello, I would love to
Wait,
look like that
hold
at
on.
70.
And everybody was out there. I mean, she
Everybody.
had
Tyler
Zuckerberg,
Perry,
Oprah, Gayle,
Sierra,
Beyonce, and her
Alicia
mother,
Keys, Stevie Wonder.
Yes, so
Justin
many people.
Bieber serenaded her and was dancing with
Snoop
her.
Dogg.
Like,
Snoop Dogg called Kim and asked, he's like, can I smoke at your mom's
smoke?"
party?
That's so nice of him to ask.
That's
So
what Kim
considerate.
said. Well, why does he have to smoke at the party? He's only going to be there for an hour. Can't you wait?
Well, I don't know, child. Well, I hope this was filmed for the next season of,
Of
the
course
show.
it
'Cause I got to
is.
see
You know that the cameras are running.
It's so funny. You see, I like this photo.
Oh, Janae Hancock.
We see it right there. Yes, the girls look fantastic.
They do, yeah.
It was
Chris looks amazing.
Stunning, glamorous. I mean, everything about it just looked beautiful. I loved every single photo.
And this time of the year is very big for their family because they have birthdays back to back. There's
Yeah.
Kim, Dream Kardashian, Corey Gamble. They both share a birthday,
Yeah,
which
Corey's
was
birthday.
yesterday.
Mhm.
And then the mom,
Kendall.
I think I said Kim. I believe Caitlin's birthday. Kendall, yes, yes. So
and then they had their big holiday party.
Oh my gosh! One day I will get invited.
Yes, even remember us.
We are claiming it right now for you. Okay, so Vivica Fox.
Oh, this was something.
Man, okay, so for those of you who do not know, Vivica A. Fox, she briefly dated 50 Cent. And when I say briefly, their relationship didn't even last for a year. But for the way that this
You would think that it did.
I know, but for this plot line to just drag on like this for years and years, it's quite excessive. But she gave some advice to these young girls at some speaking engagement that she was at, and she said never date a rapper, and she says that just now she's able to smile about it. If you remember, he shouted her out when he got his acceptance speech back in 2003 at the BET Awards. He said shout out to Vivica A. Fox for wearing that dress, and the rest is history. They began to date, but things did not work out between the two of them, and that led to their very public feud back and forth, her bashing him and him bashing her. And she said that it was very hard on her because she felt like she was painted out to be the villain villain.
Yeah.
And then it was even harder because she found out that he was actually going to propose to her.
Oh, wow. And 50 Cent, he's not always the nicest
No, he
on
trolls.
social media.
Well, I mean, that's 50 Cent. I like Curtis Jackson.
Yeah. And he responded back to
He
her.
did.
What'd he say?
Which, hold on, let me skim it. I
Was
can't
that on
read
Instagram
it.
too? Let me see
Yeah,
if I
I
can pull it up.
He must have just.
Well, I
did
wouldn't
this
pull it up.
It's not cursing on it, is it?
Yeah, there is.
Oh, dear.
So I wouldn't pull it up. But he did end
it
with
was.
the
It got
fact
blurred
that
out. One word got blurred out.
it has been 22 years, Vivica.
Yeah.
So that's my whole thing. Is it has been some time, girl. You have to be done.
But
Like
sometimes,
literally be done.
It's that, it'd be
22
that one
years,
that you still be
Taylor.
like, dang.
I mean, 50 has gone
Taylor.
on and he's dated many other people, and we haven't seen Vivica publicly date anybody. I feel like it's more difficult for women in relationship-wise than for men. And so, I mean, I feel her, and that could have been the love of her life. I was actually just in my car, and I was listening to a song, which I don't know what it is, but they said that for men, it's always the love of their life gets away, and they settle with the one that they truly didn't love.
So I'm gonna play devil's advocate here and just say that by her saying these things for 22 years, like it's still going, she's showing him that he has the power over her emotion. And I'm just against that. Like publicly, like, yeah, you can deal with that, but publicly 22 years later, I think enough is enough. You know what I mean?
But I'm a little petty too.
Even he's like, so.
I agree. She does need to let it go. But
Yeah.
Vivica, I feel the pain.
Yeah.
I think that she's a Cancer, just like 50 Cent. So they feel deep. I'm a Capricorn, so I'm connected with Cancers, and they're emotional people. So.
And I think it could be a thing too of like you knew the person wasn't good for you, but maybe it's just memories you're holding on to, not necessarily that she like wants to get back with him.
Well, no, I don't believe that either. I just don't think she should show that he's still getting to her. You know what I mean?
I agree, especially because of how he is on social media.
She knows he's going to respond, and which he did.
Let's remember that Vivica A. Fox was Vivica A. Fox.
She
before
was.
50 Cent. Let's
She
not
very
act
much
like he
was.
put her on the map.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
That part.
Yeah, no, she is an icon for
That
sure.
girl.
Alrighty,
I like 50
Ebony.
Cent,
I think that'll do it for what is trending today. Remind our viewers how they can follow you on social media.
Yes, make sure you follow me on X, Instagram, and TikTok at It's Bingy Baby. Tune into my show on Power 105.1 from 3 until 7. I'm giving away New Edition, Tony Braxton, and Boys to Men tickets, and also advanced screening passes to Wicked. So you want to listen to my show.
I'll be
Let me
calling
tune
in. Alrighty, we'll be right back after the break.
Thanks for staying with us here on KCTV 5 Plus. Let's get to your national headlines. A sigh of relief Monday night in Washington after the U.S. Senate finally passed a bill aimed at reopening the government. Now the legislation has to get through the House before it can go to the president's desk for his signature. A handful of Democrats in the Senate crossed the aisle to support the deal, which includes funding for food assistance, but there's only a promise of a vote for the Democrats' main demand, which is health care subsidies. CBS News' Bradley Blackburn has more from New York.
The bill as amended is passed.
An end to the longest shutdown in U.S. history is in sight.
I think this is a great victory for the American people.
Last night, 8 Democratic caucus members in the U.S. Senate joined Republicans to pass a bill which would fund the government through January 30th. The measure reverses shutdown-related layoffs and guarantees back pay for federal workers. It also incorporates 3 year-long spending bills that include SNAP food assistance funding. Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman on his yes vote to Fox News.
It's the country over the party on this. I can't ever support that kind of tactic to hold our government as a hostage.
But the split has sparked backlash, especially since the deal did not include the Democrats' key demand of an extension of Affordable Care Act tax credits.
Given the fact that, as everybody knows, what the fight was about was health care, it was a loss.
Now some government workers are questioning if the shutdown was even worth it.
What's the point if the subsidies were the issue and that's not a part of the negotiated plan?
Senate GOP leaders say members are discussing the ACA with the promise of a vote sometime next month. But in the House, Speaker Mike Johnson has been non-committal.
I do not guarantee the outcome of legislation or dates or deadlines or anything.
The House is expected to take up the Senate's bill to reopen the government as soon as Wednesday. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News.
And a deal to end the government shutdown is now in sight in Washington, but air travel across the country is still severely disrupted. Bradley Blackburn continues our coverage this morning with why it could get worse today and what President Donald Trump is telling air traffic controllers.
With Washington still in a holding pattern, it is not a good time to be an air traveler.
10 minutes before I'm supposed to board, they canceled the plane.
It's frustrating.
Since Friday, there have been more than 30,000 delays and 7,000 cancellations. Airlines say the shutdown has disrupted trips for more than 5.2 million passengers.
It was just mass chaos, sitting in chairs for like 13 hours.
And now the FAA plans to slash more flights, up to 6% today, reaching a 10% cut by Friday if the shutdown isn't resolved. Dozens of air traffic control towers have been understaffed, in part due to a surge in sick calls.
2 weeks before Thanksgiving, you're going to see air travel be reduced to a trickle.
In a Truth Social post, President Trump wrote, all air traffic controllers must get back to work now. He threatened to dock pay for those who don't and reward controllers who didn't take time off during the shutdown with a $10,000 bonus. The Air Traffic Controllers Union is defending controllers who've been asked to work without receiving paychecks.
They must focus on child care instead of traffic flows, food for their families instead of runway separation. This is not politics. This is not ideology.
On Monday, the FAA also limited private jets and other general aviation flights from using a dozen major airports. For now, they are open only for commercial flights. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
And amid the widespread cancellations at major U.S. airports, rental car companies, they're seeing a spike in one-way rentals. The flight cuts have led to thousands of delays and cancellations across the country, which is getting people to choose alternatives. So rental car company Hertz has reported a 20% rise in one-way rentals. Travelers are renting vehicles as a backup plan to help reach their destinations. And I mean, you know, we talked about Thanksgiving coming up and everything. So, you know, you can't waste any time.
Yeah. I was going to say, I don't blame them at all. I feel like it's a smart move. This is some old video, but I just could not keep that in. But I do feel like that's a smart move because you have to have that backup plan, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to be stuck.
But then it's like, you know, for me personally, if I was going home for the holidays, for instance, I'm not, but if I was, it's a 20-hour drive for me to get home. So it's like if you're super far from family, you might even have to just like stay home.
Look for a train. No, just kidding. No, but seriously, as far as like if you're going from, for me, you know, from Denver, going from Missouri to Denver is not bad. So I don't know. It just, hopefully things get better for travelers, especially ahead of Thanksgiving, because it is going to get very busy in the coming days.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so moving along, holiday spending is expected to rise this year. The National Retail Federation forecast predicts holiday sales will reach $1 trillion. Last year, total spending reached $976 billion. Despite a projected rise in spending, experts say that shoppers are more price sensitive and will be searching for deals. And this is actually very surprising. This is surprising, especially with the government shutdown. I know things are starting to look a little bit better now, but it is surprising to see this data come out regarding holiday spending to increase this year.
Yeah, and I think too, at least for me, as people get like kids in my family, like as they get older, the price goes up on the gifts, right?
Yeah.
Like a little stuffed animal's not going to cut it. Now they want, like my brother, he'll want like a video game or something.
That is expensive.
It's not cheap, right? Yeah, so it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
But I do think that things go up around this time every single year.
Yeah. That plays a huge role in it. The price is
Yeah.
going up. So of course you're going to spend more.
All right. Well, you are probably feeling some cold in the air when you got up this morning. Luckily, it's going to warm up for us a little bit. But this is one of the rare days when people in Florida might break out their winter coats. I never thought I would ever hear Florida in a winter coat. That's if they own them. So an Arctic blast continues its record-setting trek east today. And as Amy Kiley reports, is impacting certain areas from New York to the Sunshine State.
An Arctic blast could bring inches of snow and potentially record-setting cold to parts of the eastern U.S. today. Even Florida could reach historic lows before the polar plunge is done, according to meteorologists.
It's too cold. It's too early. It's not even Thanksgiving yet. It needs to heat back up soon because we're freezing.
Forecasters predict snow near Lake Erie today. Some Midwesterners are still digging out after double-digit accumulations in certain areas yesterday. This Wisconsin man says he marks the first snowfall each year by making snow angels in his swim trunks.
My stepfather came into my life. As a dare, he made me do it, and I've been doing it ever since.
For others, the weather means work rather than play.
I woke up at my normal time thinking we were just going to get the cold air, but this is totally different. This is actually get dressed and actually be outside in the cold.
My wife's over there helping Leslie, and I'm trying to get this running, and I'm going to go across the street and help them. She's at work.
The storm is hitting at the same time as air traffic controller shortages across the country. Chicago's O'Hare Airport reports average delays of more than 5 hours yesterday.
I'm exhausted. I am tired. I am mad. I just want to sleep.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Janae, I'm not ready. I'm not ready for the snow.
I'm not. Hey. You know I love summertime. I'm not here for the winter time, especially the cold weather. Let's just get through the holidays and then we can circle back to summertime. Yes. Okay, so today, speaking of holidays, is Veterans Day, a time to pay tribute to everyone who has served in the U.S. military. Veterans Day dates back to November 11th, 1918, and that's when the truce between the U.S. allies and Germany to end World War I was signed on the 11th day and of the 11th month at the 11th hour. It is a federal holiday, so most banks and post offices will be closed today, but grocery stores, retailers, and restaurants will be open. So you can take your veteran out to dinner tonight.
Yeah, and actually it might be free for them.
Yeah, I know there are a lot of freebies as well, and you can actually head over to our website, kctv5.com, for a whole list on that.
Yeah, I actually got a text. I can't use it, but Charlie's Car Wash, I got a text and they said if you're a veteran, you can get a free car wash and hand dry.
Oh, I love that, though.
Take somebody. Since I can't do it for me. All right. So keeping on the subject of veterans in our military, an Iraq War veteran is pushing to recognize a fellow soldier with a Medal of Honor who was killed shielding members of the team from a grenade attack in 2006. He says he won't rest until the fallen soldier receives the highest military honor for acts of valor in combat. Natalie Brand has more on his campaign.
We cannot fail him now. It's waited too long.
Retired Command Sergeant Major Daniel Pinion has a new mission. Nearly 20 years after leading a specialized team during intense and deadly fighting in Ramadi during the Iraq War.
I mean, we were averaging 46 attacks a day on our brigade.
But one attack in August 2006 is especially haunting when 28-year-old Sergeant Marquise Quick of Alabama sacrificed his life to save his fellow soldiers.
As the 4 grenades came over the roof, Sergeant Barr screamed, "Grenade, grenade, grenade." And everybody started to seek cover except for Sergeant Quick. So Sergeant Quick was right next to the stairwell to safety, and the grenades were behind him, and he deliberately turned towards the grenades and went to the grenades to shield them, or his comrades, from the blast.
During the chaos of war, Pinion says he focused on his soldiers who survived. But 2 years ago, while researching a book he was writing, he kept coming back to Sergeant Quick's heroism. Pinion has launched a campaign for Quick to receive the Medal of Honor, even turning to social media to track down a member of the old unit who witnessed his valor.
I sent a text message to probably my 20th phone number and got a reply.
With support of Sergeant Quick's comrades and widow, Pinion is working through the lengthy process of petitioning for the award.
His name will forever be remembered as a hero.
Pinion says it's the recognition Quick deserves for going above and beyond the call of duty, saving 3 lives at the cost of his own. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Prince William County, Virginia.
We have to make note of this because we do every single day. At least we try to. It is 11:11 still. You have
11:11
seconds left
on 11/11
on 11/11 on Veterans Day. So go ahead and make a wish. Well, now it's too late, but we'll check back in tomorrow. I do want to move on to this story that is pretty sweet. So a routine traffic stop turned into anything but, and it was a night one police officer will never forget. As Faraz Javid reports, the officer's brother was a big help, and it was all caught on camera.
Okay, just take a couple breaths.
This past Friday, just before 2 a.m., a Melvindale police officer pulled over a speeding vehicle. Behind the wheel, a man was rushing his wife to the hospital. 45-year-old Maria was in labor.
My fear was like something is going to happen to my girl or to me.
Officer Al-Hassan called for help. Minutes later, Corporal Mohammed Hashim arrived and immediately sensed time was running out.
She's just breathing heavy, panicking.
That's when the dispatcher made a critical decision.
We're going to start priority medical for you here.
Meaning Hashim will have to deliver the baby.
Nothing could have prepared you for something like this.
The training you receive in the academy, but it's not this.
With nearly 3 years on the job, this was Hashim's first.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Listen carefully, I'll tell you exactly what to do.
That voice coaching through every step, interim Melvindale Police Chief Chris Egan says, is Hashim's younger brother at Dearborn Dispatch, the center that also handles 911 calls from Melvindale.
He goes by Mo, and his brother goes by Joe.
With every contraction, it's the race against time.
I need to lay on the back in the center of the ground, and I'll tell you exactly how to help deliver the baby. Are you able to get out? I'm 10, I'm laying the seat all the way back. She's unable to get out.
While EMS was en route,
Raise her head above her shoulder. Do not have her sit up.
decisions were being made quickly.
Head is coming out, sir. Stay calm.
Were you calm?
Hearing him, yes.
At the time it happened, I was like, no, please, like, why? But now that I think about it, it's like, thank God he stopped us.
I need you to keep that baby's head supported and have her keep breathing. Fire's pulling up on your run now.
Do you think you could have done this without your brother?
Look, Dearborn United Dispatch has amazing dispatchers, but I think God wanted him on the radio that time and wanted me there at that place. Baby's breathing, crying. All right, gentlemen, congratulations. If something went south, God forbid, I would have had to live with that guilt the rest of my life.
Bismillah, which is in the name of God, in the name of Allah. What made you say that in that moment?
As an Arab American, what's better than hearing a blessing from God?
Maria said the same thing. She's a devout Catholic, and she said he was a gift of God.
In Melvindale, I'm Faraz Javid, 7 News Detroit.